To all the Sangha and the Dharma friends around the world in your countries, thank you for joining us for the live stream. Good morning.
We'll begin the practice with the Chenrezig Sadhana on page 1.
各位全球透过网络加入我们法会的法友们，大家早，谢谢你们参加，吉祥如意。首先观音精要仪轨。于我声称之怨敌，害我之魔障，及诸障碍解脱障碍成佛者，以起为主，乃至等虚空一切慈母有情，愿皆具足安乐，远离痛苦，速得无上圆满正等珍贵菩提果。于我声称之怨敌，害我之魔障，及诸障碍解脱障碍成佛者，以起为主，乃至等虚空一切慈母有情，愿皆具足安乐，远离痛苦，速得无上圆满正等珍贵菩提果。是故愿我乃至成佛间，身语意皆勤于善；愿我乃至尽形寿，身语意皆勤于善；愿我得自今日起，身语意皆勤于善。
Until awakening, I take refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly.
诸佛正法众中尊，直至菩提我归依，我以斯等诸福德，为利众生愿成佛。愿诸佛正法众中尊，直至菩提我归依，我以斯等诸福德，为利众生愿成佛。 愿等虚空一切慈母有情众生，皆具乐极乐因，愿其皆离苦及苦因，愿其不离无苦妙乐，愿其皆得住于远离爱憎之平等舍。愿等虚空一切慈母有情众生皆具乐极乐因，愿其皆离苦及苦因，愿其不离无苦妙乐，愿其皆得住于远离爱憎之平等舍。离系无见自性空性中，自身具生任运观音尊，净白一面四臂加趺坐，手二臂于心间合掌之，后右臂持念珠左白莲，是智无别圆满相好身，心间月上六字围绕睡，旋转放光外气净土宫，内情众生转化观音身，一切声响转化六字咒，一切心事转化为慈悲。离系无见自性空性中，自身具生任运观音尊，净白一面四臂加趺坐，手二臂于心间合掌之，后右臂持念珠左白莲，是智无别圆满相好身，心间月上六字围绕睡，旋转放光外气净土宫，内情众生转化观音身，一切声响转化六字咒，一切心事转化为慈悲。
그래서 원은 제대로 되리. 그래서 저기 이 나도 뭐로 다 뭐하시는데 그래서 뭐하지 배사도 오늘 때 무슨 자잖아. 이 그만도 잡고 소토고 요만 됐지다. 그래서 뭐 얘기하면 양양은 팔아버리 그리고 강은 뭐야 막도 저거 뭐지요. 나는 야들이 맞추려 양말 거면 그 양말 뭐지요 말 같이 우리 닭고자 야들나 뭐지요 말 저라 로마 다 되는 거 아우 생기지 닭고자 배가리 자고 대사는데 싹고졌다 라마 교시 서서 잡을 강간을 가고 교소 자작할 수와 대사를 속으로 빼야고요. 이제 쇼트지 하자는 수는 냐네 기시지 다 타고요. 그냥 로마고 그냥 가래 잡아고 내들이 다 자작하는 요가 타고 또 지체셔는
So first, I'd like to say thank you for everyone joining on the live stream, because actually you joining on the live stream is actually really meaningful, because it is said that whatever virtue is practiced anywhere in the world, if you rejoice in it, then you will receive the merit together with whoever is practicing virtue. This is, for example, explained by Raga Ase in the prayer of Sukhavati of Devachen. And the Buddhists have taught that all over the place in various occasions. But in the Chagme Rinpoche's or Raga Ase's Devachen prayer, Sukhavati prayer, the words are very clear, very direct. And so I myself do not have much learning, and I also don't know the entire prayer of Sukhavati, but these particular words are really important, and actually they can be applied to the Buddha's words too, the scriptures themselves. And so in there it says, this line says in the Devachen prayer, when I hear or see of other people practicing virtue, I will not get jealous, but I will rejoice from the bottom of my heart. And whoever rejoices from the bottom of their heart will receive the merit together. And also regarding the rejoicing in others' virtue, Dzogchen Patrulje had said, if you wish to accumulate merit even when you're doing nothing and just lying, sleeping, then rejoice in the merit of others. So if I'd ask you, like, do you want to accumulate merit by just doing nothing and just lying around and sleeping? Of course, everybody would want that. And everybody would want to naturally accumulate merit. And so what Padma Rinpoche is saying is that if you only rejoice in the merit of others, you can just lie around and rest and just rejoice in what others do, and you will still receive all of their merit together with them. And that applies to any kind of virtue, whether it is more subtle or a greater virtue. So that rejoicing is a feeling of joy and happiness when you see sentient beings experience happiness or accumulate virtue, engage in virtuous activity. Or for example, even if it is just a little animal, if you see them happy and being well, then you feel joy in that, and that is the nature of rejoicing. So of those immeasurables of love and compassion, the third one is joy, and that is the rejoicing. And so everyone who has joined the live stream and who is taking joy in this virtuous activity, they will receive the merit all together. It's exactly the same. So for example, now we are accumulating 100 million Mani mantras. And if you join in that through just rejoicing, everyone who participates in this retreat will actually have the same merit as though they themselves had accumulated 100 million Mani mantras. So this is also what Vajradhara Druvang Rinpoche had said. And so that's why I want to thank you for joining the live stream. And then also, once a virtue of merit is created, it has to be dedicated. If it isn't dedicated, then the virtue will become spoiled. There are actually 4 causes that destroy our virtue. And the first one is if we take pride in them and think that I did this and that, I did this great thing, and we keep again and again telling others or talk about what great thing we did. So that's the first one. Then the second cause is to not dedicate at all. So to practice virtue and then just forget about dedication. That's the second one. And the third one is the virtue becomes destroyed through afflictive emotions. And in particular, the afflictive emotions of anger and jealousy destroy our merit. And then number 4, so we have many already. So number 3 actually is the corrupt dedication, which is like a negative intention, like a negative kind of aspiration, thinking that I'm doing this to harm sentient beings. For example, some people who are casting spells through black magic on others, they have a negative aspiration that wishes to harm others. And that obviously is not the cause of merit, but it's the cause of suffering, because it destroys one's bodhicitta, so it destroys one's merit. And then also the merit is destroyed through regretting what one has done. So, for example, if somebody practices a great virtue, for example, they set up a very nice and large Buddha statue, and then you come along and you say that that was wrong. This not good. This statue is not good, or something like that, and you begin to doubt in it, and then you may regret that you even got the statue in the first place. And so when you regret it, then you also lose your merit. So the same goes for many other similar things. So for example, even if, for example, there would be something wrong with that Buddha statue, or there would be something wrong in what somebody has done, even if there is a fault in what somebody has done, you should still not speak about it or tell them. And just, even though it is actually a fault, you still tell them, oh, what you did is so good, it's great, and it's fine. Because then they will rejoice in what they did. And if they rejoice in what they did, the virtuous act, then they will accumulate merit. And so it all depends on the state of mind, or the intention in the mind. And so that's why I wanted to thank you for joining the live stream. And so these are those 4 causes that destroy our root of virtue, or our merit. And for that not to happen, we have to seal our merit with dedication prayers. And sealing virtue with dedication is just like putting your money into a bank account. If your money is in a bank, then no robber can take it from you, for example. So that's similar to sealing the virtue with dedication. And on top of that, if you put your money in the bank, you might even get an interest and your money increases. If you just keep the cash money on you, then there is always a danger that you will be robbed, or you will not have any interest. It will not increase if you just keep the money. And also there's a danger that you will just lose the money. So then you have this hardship of having to protect your money. So that is like not dedicating. And so therefore it is so beneficial that whenever you see anyone in the world practicing virtue, for example, a guru, a spiritual teacher, whoever they are and wherever they are, whatever virtue they practice, if you join that on the live stream, for example, and rejoice, then that is a great merit for you. So this is really the way to accumulate merit, by just doing nothing and lying around. So in other words, you can just stay where you are. You don't actually have to go there. You can just turn on the live stream. So without much difficulty, really, just by joining the live stream, you can accumulate great merit. And so again, that's why I want to thank you for joining the live stream.
谢谢各位来参加这个网络直播的这个法会。那么，我们因为当你参加这个法会的时候，或者是听到世界其他各处有一些修行的法会，你能够随喜的话，不论你在什么地方，你的功德跟他们的功德应该是等同的。这点在恰美仁波切写的极乐愿文有详细的解释，说是若能随喜功德等同，那当然我们听闻的时候，自己听别人行善，自己不生嫉妒心的话，内心能够随喜，我们的功德也是等同的。那修大圆满的著名上师巴图仁波切也这样子讲，如果你想要躺着什么事都不做还能够累积功德的话，那你就好好的修随喜吧。每个人大概每天如果能够真正能够随喜，那你每天不做什么事还是可以累积功德的。无论这个功德是大或小，或者是微细，如果说我们看到众生快乐呢，我们可以时时随喜，就能时时累积功德。我们见到动物快乐的时候，我们自己内心生欢喜也快乐，这就是同喜，这就是事无量心的慈悲喜舍的喜第三个。那么同喜的人呢，得到同样的功德。我们现在在这边举办亿次的玛尼咒语的累积次数的法会。那么如果说你能够参加这个网络直播或者能够随喜，那你就等于有那个亿次心咒的这个功德，这也是过去那个主棒仁波切讲到这个随喜这个法会的功德。那我们今天有了3功德的时候，我们应该要加以回向，那么才能够保持这个功德，要不然就容易毁坏。毁坏我们功德的有几种原因，第一个就是骄慢，认为说我自己做的这个，我做这个，我做那个。再来一个就是不回向，或者是说升起烦恼心啊、嗔心、嫉妒心，或者是说我们回向的时候是做不当的回向，邪恶的发心，想要恼害众生，给下诅咒。那这样子为什么能够毁坏功德？因为不但他们得不到快乐，会被你所损害，这种发心。最后一个就是忏悔你过去已做的善行。比如说举个例子来讲，有一个人请了一个大佛像，然后让人家礼拜，然后来礼拜的人看到说这些佛像哪里有问题，那自己甚至内心升起的疑惑，想说自己为什么要把这个佛像带来这里呢？当自己升起这种后悔的心的话，这个功德就失去了。所以当我们看到即使佛像上有问题，或别人所做的有些不对的地方，不一定要跟他们讲，我们可以只讲好的部分，让他们开心，他们觉得自己所做的是有意义，那么这样就能够继续累积功德。所以呢，谢谢各位来参加这个网络直播的这个法会。我们为了不要毁坏我们的功德，我们应该用回向来封钱，如同把我们的钱放到银行里面，强盗不但拿不走，我们自己还有利息可以拿。否则呢，如果我们放在身边的话，那么不但钱不会生利息，我们还得花心思来保护它，自己也很疲累。所以如果说我们当听到全世界其他地方的修法，那么你能够透过网络直播来参加而随喜的，你的功德是等同的，你甚至是可以躺着就可以累积功德。所以我首先要谢谢各位来参加这个线上的法会。
Then we come back to the Sakama prayer. So we finished the last verse on page 1. The last words were then in the Tibetan, I gaze unwaveringly upon that Lama. And so then the next verse, so beginning with the next verse, then the prayer expresses the qualities first of the Nirmanakaya. And so it says, so yeah, in your body the victorious ones of the 3 times of all 10 directions appear together with their offspring. So this then begins the expression of the qualities of the 3 kayas. And generally it is said that all phenomena have the nature of the 3 kayas. So all phenomena of samsara and nirvana do not transcend the expanse of the 3 kayas. It is also said that in terms of those the Buddha's body, speech, and mind, so they're and here the guru, so his body is the Nirmanakaya, the speech is the Sambhogakaya, and the mind is the Dharmakaya by nature. And the Dharmakaya space, the mind, the expanse, that is the single basis of all phenomena of samsara and nirvana. So all phenomena are subsumed within this Dharmakaya space. And temporarily, there is the perception of impure sentient beings. They appear in an impure way due to their karmas, their afflictive emotions, their karmic imprints. They are the natural manifestations of karmic imprints, those sentient beings of the 6 realms. At the same time, they remain unmoving from the basis, which is their Buddha nature. And therefore, whatever arises has the nature of the 3 kayas. And so, therefore, all sentient beings' appearance are the Nirmanakaya form. They are also a kaya. All Buddhas and all sentient beings have that same nature. It is that sentient beings are primordially Buddhas. They only appear as pure or impure temporarily. And so also the guru's form, the guru's appearance, possesses the nature of the 3 kayas. So here is mentioned the victorious ones of the 3 times of all 10 directions. So the 10 directions means that all the Buddhas, wherever they are, in the 4 cardinal, in the 4 intermediate directions, and the upper and the lower directions. So basically it means everything and everywhere. And those Buddhas of the 3 times, all those Buddhas are identical, are one with the Guru. And so how are they one? So even though the Buddhas of the 3 times appear in many different ways, what we can see, their nature, is one and the same. So their body, what that we can see, is the Nirmanakaya. And all of their speech is the holy Dharma, which is the Dharma, and the Sambhogakaya. They teach the twofold truth. And their mind is the same. Their mind is this vast expanse of primordial wisdom. It is said within the expanse of primordial wisdom, all the Buddhas are one. They are non-dual. And from this non-dual space arise a great multitude of different emanations. And then next it says, with joy I gaze upon your body adorned with all the major and minor marks, seated on the throne of fearlessness, lotus, sun, and moon. So the Buddha, within the Guru, the Buddhas of the 3 times are complete. So within his body, all the bodies of all the Buddhas is complete. And within the Guru's speech, the speech of all the Buddhas of the 3 times is complete. And within his mind, the omniscient, all-knowing wisdom of all the Buddhas of the 3 times is complete. So they are all one within this expanse of wisdom. So when someone has realized the ultimate view, how things really are, what they realize is the indivisible nature of samsara and nirvana. Sai Pandita also said the ultimate view is the indivisibility of samsara and nirvana, or that Buddhas and sentient beings are non-dual. And Jigten Sumgön had also said that on the state of Buddhahood, there is no division between the two truths. Also, it is said, the Buddha said that all beings are actually Buddhas. So in this way, because the Buddha had said that, for example, what Jigten Sumgyen and Sakya Pandita said and so on, is in accordance with what the Buddha had said. And it is said that, also Jigten Sumgyen said that whatever is taught must be in accordance with the Buddha's teachings. And if it is not, it is a misconception or a kind of a wrong view. So what they have said is in accordance with the Buddha's teachings and precisely. So the Buddha said all beings are actually Buddhas. They are only obscured by adventitious stains. So everything is actually shown just by these two lines. If you just understand them and keep them as the basis, then no matter what you say, there will be no contradiction. Everything will be in accordance with the Buddha's teachings. And if not, if it is not in accordance with the Buddha's teachings, then dualistic perception will proliferate. And then you will see a duality between Buddhas and sentient beings, and as a result of this dualistic perception, temporarily the appearance of samsara will manifest. And so, in any case, the root guru here is said to embody all the Buddhas of the three times. The Buddhas of the three times are included within one root guru, or the three jewels are included within one root guru. If it's the three jewels, then the guru's body is the Sangha, and the speech is the Dharma, and the mind is the Buddha. So I always mention that, so I won't go into that now. But that's from the three jewels perspective. From the tantric perspective, it is said that the guru's body is the Lama, the speech is the Yidam, and the mind is the Dakini. So that's the three roots. And then from the perspective of the result, which is the three kayas, the guru's body is the Nirmana kaya, the speech the Sambhoga kaya, and the mind is the Dharma kaya. And ultimately, the Nirmana kaya and Sambhoga kaya arise out of the expanse of the Dharma kaya. So actually, the Sambhoga kaya and Nirmana kaya are, because they're emanations, they're also illusory. Ultimately, they all have the nature of the Dharma kaya. And so in brief, that is the nature of the root guru. All of that is included within the root guru. So when someone has realized the ultimate view of non-duality, one realizes this one taste. So one realizes that the great multitude of things, the great diversity, all has one taste, meaning that the limitless phenomena of samsara and nirvana have all the same nature. And also, one realizes that one taste has or appears as a diversity. So although everything is one taste, there is just one basis, temporarily there are manifold appearances. There are samsaric appearances, there are many forms of nirmana kayas that appear. Actually, if we were to just speak about the qualities of the nirmana kaya, we could just speak about that endlessly. So actually, for this reason, the qualities are, in a way, unfathomable or inexpressible.
那么我们讲到在第2页这边呢，云林僧中缘具十方之30诸佛以及佛子众，不拜莲花日月殿之上，请观相好水好庄严身。这边讲到报身是一切现象都其实事实上都具有三身的本质，不管是轮回或涅槃都不超过法报化三身，像对于佛陀的身语意来讲也是如此。上师的身体就是化身，上师的语就是报身，上师的心意就是法身。 具有这种本质。法身如同虚空的本质，是包括的一切轮回涅槃都合于虚空的法身之中。内在有不纯的凡夫那么他种种的这个业报啊，他们的印记啊，可是他们的佛性却是不动的。一切的升起都有三身的本质，诸佛或者众生都有这个三身。我们过去讲众生本为佛，那都是有三身的，只是说我们显现出来是暂时或者是恒久的。在这边讲到的30诸佛，所谓的30其实是讲十方三世，也就是一切时一切处，诸佛跟上师都是等同。怎么说呢？在一切处的本质，他们都是相同的。身体就是化身，言语就是佛陀的圣法法教，是一个报身。讲的是二谛，世俗跟圣义谛。那心意是等同这个本初智。那在本初智的这个境界之上呢，所有的诸佛都是等同的，所以说上师是具足30诸佛的。当我们了解了究竟义的时候，一切事项都是有轮回涅槃。那萨迦班智达过去也曾经讲说，我们的见地是不分轮回跟涅槃的。那吉田松公祖师也有讲了很多，讲说佛果是没有二谛的，也是没有圣义或世俗谛的。众生即是佛，或者是说一切所教应跟佛陀所教相符合，要不然就是会容易产生邪见。那这些的话语呢，圣哲的话语都是跟佛陀所说的一样的。那么如果我们不是这样子做的话，我们过去也讲众生本为佛，只为客成遮。如果这样了解，就是佛陀的所讲的法是一致的，要不然的话，我们就会所讲的一切就会增长众生对恶缘的执着，那暂时出现的这种轮回。那根本上是具足30的诸佛。那过去我们讲做过三身、三宝跟这都是这个都有的。那上师的身体就是生宝，上师的语就是法宝，上师的心意就是佛宝。那么这个那么从这个密续的角度来讲的话，上师的身体就是身，上师的语就是本尊，上师的意就是空行。那从果地上来讲呢，上师的身是化身，上师的语是报身，上师的意是法身。那报身跟化身都是从法身而来的，他们都是应化出来的一种幻化的身。那这一些都具足在上师之上。当我们知道说没有二元对立的时候，就是这种一味的境界，万事万象呢均有这个等同的这个本质，这就是一味。暂时呢有许多的化现出来，在轮回化身种种，但是本质上是没有差别的。那这边呢就跟这个化身的功德是无量无边的，如果说我们要详细讲，要花很多时间。
So we gaze upon the body of the Guru adorned with all the major and the minor marks. So here we need to understand that within the Guru, the root Guru, all the Buddhas, the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 times are complete. So within his body, all those Buddhas are complete. So in the new preliminary, as a new preliminary practice, and in the refuge section, we take refuge in the Guru, who is the embodiment of the 9 jewels, which is the 3 jewels and the 3 roots and the 3 kayas. So the 9 jewels, they're all included within the root Guru. And so then we gaze upon the body adorned with the major and minor marks. And so coming back to the one taste appearing as diversity, the Guru's Nirmanakaya form. So first, when the various Pure Lands manifest, the Pure Lands like kind of emanate out, and the Nirmanakayas appear there. So that is one taste appearing as diversity. And then, so in the next verse, then it continues, 3 kayas, nature of the mind, Vajradhara. Then this is now speaking now from the perspective of the result, which is the 3 kayas, the final fruition. And the essence of mind, the ultimate nature of mind, is Vajradhara. Vajradhara is the Dharmakaya, that's the ultimate nature of the mind. So on the ultimate level, our mind is inseparable, the Guru's mind also is inseparable, indivisible from Vajradhara, that's his mind. And then the 3 kayas have an outer, inner, and a secret aspect. And these are all included within the mind. Milarepa had said, in terms of the 3 kayas, non-conceptuality is the Dharmakaya. Bliss is the Sambhogakaya. From bliss arises the Sambhogakaya, and from clarity arises the Nirmanakaya. The 3 kayas are qualities of one's own mind. So first, for the Dharmakaya, the mind is empty in essence, just like space. And then for the Sambhogakaya, it is also naturally clear. So the mind is all-knowing. There's this clear knowing capacity that clearly knows its nature. And then this union of clarity and emptiness is very blissful. And this bliss is unchanging bliss. And this unchanging state is the Buddha Vajradhara, or it is the state that transcends birth and death. In the Samantabhadra prayer, it says, even if the 3 worlds were to be destroyed, there is no fear. There is no attachment to the 5 desirables of the senses. So all of these qualities are included within the essence of the mind. And that is, in essence, the Buddha Vajradhara. So here we need to understand Vajradhara here refers to the ultimate essence, the nature of the mind.
那么我们接下来讲这个三身心之体性金刚持那么刚刚之前讲的是，所以最后的结语就是请观相好随好庄严身，因为上师之身是具足十方三世诸佛的功德庄严的。那么所有的一切上师都具足所谓的9宝、3宝佛法身、3身法报法，以及密续的3根本、上师本尊空行等等。所以当我们见到化身的话，内心可以产生升起一位，因为它的本质就是一位的，只是化现成不同的外相来利众这样子。那么这就是一位利众的这个道理。那么在果地上来讲呢，就会有3身的，就是这个寄送3身心之体性金刚持。心的本性呢，就是一个金刚持，也就是法身。我的心跟上师的心是不分的，也就是金刚持之心。3身有外内密3个层次。弥勒巴祖师曾经讲说，所谓的无念就是法身，这个大乐就是报身，清明就是化身。所以我们知道本质，心的本质是空性的，那加上它的明性呢，二者合，自然就会产生很大的快乐。那么这都是自心的这个功德。那这种乐呢，也就是金刚持时时安住的这种状态。那这种呢是超越生死的。所以这也就是在普贤王如来祈愿文里面讲的3界部亦不恐惧，于五妙语不贪恋，自身无念心适中。这个是讲的是心的本质是非常的重要的。
So regarding the way in which the three kayas are explained, there is actually a slight difference between the way Milarepa had explained it and the way it is generally explained, meaning that which one is clarity, which one is bliss, and so on. So the general explanation is that the empty essence of the mind is the Dharmakaya. Then the natural clarity is the Sambhogakaya, and the all-pervasive compassion is the Nirmanakaya. And it is said that these are three qualities that are complete within the essence of one's own mind. And that is when one has eliminated self-grasping, then the mind becomes naturally empty like space. There is no more self. And then it is said that one then sees sentient beings who have not realized that, and for that, naturally compassion arises. So emptiness is unified with compassion. Love for all beings naturally pervades them all. And so then appears in the various forms as Nirmanakayas and so on. So this is how it is explained generally, so that there is then the all-pervasive quality of love is the Nirmanakaya, and it's explained that the Sambhogakaya is this natural clarity, the clear awareness or the self-knowing, naturally luminous awareness. That is the Sambhogakaya quality. And so it sees, this clarity sees its own empty essence. And so from that seeing then, when this empty essence is seen with clarity, then from that then comes this all-pervasive compassion. This then becomes this vast expanse of compassion. So this is the general explanation of the three kayas. Milarepa explains it slightly differently. So Milarepa says that so the non-conceptual mind is the Dharmakaya. That's the empty essence of the mind. But then he says, from bliss arises the Sambhogakaya, and that is actually a very powerful statement. So from bliss arises the Sambhogakaya. There are the infinite pure lands of the 10 directions. And all these pure lands, and in all these pure lands, there is only bliss. They are greatly blissful and pure lands. There is no suffering. It's the great bliss that is beyond all suffering. And that's the nature of the Sambhogakaya. And so the way Milarepa explains it is maybe ever so slightly more profound. And so the others say that clarity leads to the Sambhogakaya, but Milarepa says that bliss is, from bliss arises the Sambhogakaya, because from bliss arise all the various pure lands. And that actually is also connected to the practices of the channels, vents, and drops. It's actually very meaningful. And also you can ask Khenpo Tenzin about it. I'm actually just giving you like a brief outline of this, but I actually don't really know how to go really to the root of it in so much detail. And so therefore Khenpo Tenzin will also teach on that more. But I am explaining to the best of my abilities.
所以刚刚的我们讲的弥勒日巴的讲法跟一般所讲的三身的解释稍微有所不同。那么但是呢，这个它也会有很深远的意义的。一般我们讲说法身是本性空，报身是自性明，那这个化身是大悲周遍，这都是具足圆满在自性当中。那为什么会有这个悲心呢？因为见到众生不了解自身具足一切，而在迷惘而生起悲心，所以空跟悲的结合，由于我们的慈爱心转化的这个悲心，化遍一切众生，这就是所谓的化身。那弥勒日巴祖师的讲法是说，这个法身就是一种无念空性，然后报身呢是一种乐的境界，然后 化身呢是一种这个清明的状态。那么在讲到这个乐呢，这种讲法是非常这个震撼、令人震撼的一种讲法呢，因为一切的净土只有乐，无苦，这个就是报身的特质。那所以这个弥勒日巴祖师这种讲法的意义非常的深远，一切的净土都是由乐而生的。那它跟我们修持的密续的修持气脉明点也有相当大的关联。注意这一点的细节，你们有空可以问天津堪布我只是一个学识很有限的人我只是跟你们讲一些大概，那细节怎么样理解，可以去问天津堪布。
Then, so the next, actually, the actual 7 branches begin. So then here in the second verse, in the second line in the Tibetan, so that is here, you're inseparable from great bliss. So then after that begins the actual 7 branches. And so we have said the Buddha Vajradhara is inseparable from the root guru. And then next it says, bowing down to you with innumerable bodies like cloud banks, yearning with a full voice, I prostrate and go for refuge. Also, for example, there's this prayer, the King of Aspiration, prayers for excellent conduct. In there it says, I multiply or emanate my body as many times as there are dust particles in the universe, and each of these emanations makes offerings to limitless Buddhas. And then each of these emanations receives their Dharma teachings and so on. So you can read and listen to the various commentaries on the prayer for excellent conduct that exist. And then, so here it says the innumerable bodies. So we bring to mind innumerable bodies, as many as there are Buddhas. That's what he's saying here. And then with these many Buddhas, I'm making, I supplicate, so with a full voice, meaning I supplicate, then I prostrate and I go for refuge and I make offerings. And so what this means, that with innumerable bodies or multiplying into emanating with innumerable bodies, it doesn't actually mean that you have to really think that you're actually emanating, you have to really emanate as so many bodies. But what you should actually understand here with the innumerable bodies is that the basis of the mind of all sentient beings, my own mind and the Buddha's mind, the Guru's mind, is one and the same. And the only difference between Buddhas and sentient beings is that the Buddhas are matured and sentient beings are not matured. And that is why sentient beings pay respect to the Buddhas. It basically means that ice shows respect to the water. So even though sentient beings are actually Buddhas, temporarily for now they are not matured. And that is why they go for refuge in the Buddha who has matured. So the place of refuge is the Buddha, and the one who goes for refuge, who seeks protection, is the sentient being. But ultimately, their basis is one and the same, the nature of mind. And this basis is the expanse of the Dharmakaya. So in that expanse, they are all the same, and only temporarily they appear as separate. And from that perspective, when they appear in a dualistic way, there appears the Sambhogakaya. And this term, Sambhogakaya, what that actually means is, Sambhogakaya means the enjoyment body. Enjoyment because the Sambhogakaya enjoys their own self-projections. So how do they do that? For example, I am here giving teachings to their disciples. So I'm giving teachings, and the disciple comes. So that's how it appears. But actually, my mind and the disciple's mind have a single basis. It is just temporarily, because the mind is confused, that one may or may not realize that. One realizes, one doesn't. But nevertheless, our mind is one and the same. So temporarily, the various activities of samsara and nirvana are engaged in by the Sambhogakayas and the Nirmanakayas. But their basis is one and the same. And so the Sambhogakaya has realized that the basis is the same, and therefore, when they engage in anything, when they interact and enjoy anything, it is like they are enjoying or partaking of their own self-projections. For example, when they enjoy any of the 5 sense pleasures, they can enjoy them fully, but at the same time, they know that the one who enjoys them and that which is enjoyed is actually inseparable. So they enjoy within a state of non-duality. Actually, often in the end of an offering prayer, it says, please accept this offering from within a state of non-duality. So that is then the unsurpassed offering. And so with regard that too, can explain that in more detail. I will just explain as much as I can. And so that's the meaning of this here, this emanating these innumerable bodies. And so you think that it means here that one appears and then makes offerings to all the Buddhas after 3 times, and one receives teachings from all these Buddhas, and so on. So actually these words are quite meaningful, and they're also connected to the King of Aspiration prayer for excellent conduct. And because it's so important, I actually also I requested that we have a teaching given on the prayer for excellent conduct, which we already had in the past. And so now, also according to my request, we have a teaching on the Serkangma, the Golden Temple prayer, because it is also very important. And the Serkangma prayer is a very beautifully written prayer, and it is very clear in meaning and yet very concise in words. And so then next in the last time here it says, yearning with a full voice. So this yearning is that you feel, I have not realized the nature of the mind. And that is why all those who don't realize the nature of the mind, they suffer. So even though their mind is Buddha nature, it has become like an ice block. So recognizing that, you think that now my mind is in this solidified state. I suffer. I must melt this ice block. And so for this purpose, I supplicate and I go for refuge. I prostrate.
那么接下来是正式的七支供养的开始，所以刚刚讲到这个深化这个刚刚讲三身心之体性金刚持无别大乐宁尊身足前，然后深化无量云海之化身，因切呼喊顶礼行皈依。我们要知道金刚持跟根本上师是无二无别的，在普贤行愿品里面也讲到，我之化身无举执，往诣无量诸佛土，接受彼等之法教等等。我们化现无量的化身，如同无量的诸佛的数量一样多，到各自到往诣到他们面前来祈请供养并听受法教。那在这边讲的并不是说我们真正的化现，而是了解到说我们心的根本、心的本质是一样的。我心上根本上师之心跟佛心是等同的，只是佛陀是成熟的众生，众生是未成，心是尚未成熟。故在这里我们礼敬诸佛，皈依诸佛，就好像冰块礼敬水一样。我们在这边我们的皈依处呢，就是佛陀，而皈依者就是众生。那但是不管是佛陀或者是众生，它本质上都是一样的，这是法身相同的本质，只是暂时有这种二元对立，而有这种报身出现。那报身是大乐之身，是可以享受自己的投射的。在比如说我来这边给予法教，弟子来这边听法，但是我的心跟弟子的心根本是相同的，只是当我们内心迷惘的时候，不了解这样本质相同的也就是佛性相同的道理。那么轮回跟涅槃都是在报身跟法身上显现，但是其实二者本质是相同的。在我们行一切时一切处的都是自己的映照，我们在这种状态之下享受五妙欲乐，是一种无二的这种享受。这个是同时它是妙欲，同时也是享受。请接受无二的供养，那这个是最大的供养。我们在有一些密续的祈请文里面有讲说，供养的时候请接受这个无二的供养。那在这边呢，如果大家想要知道细节，那可以去问堪布。所以这边讲到无量化身显现供养一切佛，是非常有意义的文句，因跟它的意思跟普贤行愿品是相同的。所以因为这个很重要，所以我过去有希望请的这个开课，这个普贤行愿品的课讲这个课现在已经圆满了。那我也认为这个色康玛的文字是简短优美，就意义深远，所以我就自己要求要讲这一个。接下来讲到殷勤深化无量云海之化身，殷切呼喊顶礼行皈依。殷切呼喊呢，就是因为我自己了解到尚未证得心性而受苦，就好像冰块的固化而受苦，我必须要融化想办法把它融化掉，所以我在这边殷勤的祈请。
Your body, the nature of precious bodhicitta, is inseparable from all the victorious ones of the three times. So the body, the nature of precious bodhicitta is like the heart of all the Buddhas of the three times. And bodhicitta is love. So the term is Chang Chup, Sem in Tibetan for bodhicitta. So Chang and Chup, and Sem means mind. So Chang means to have purified all dualistic grasping at self and other. So that's the Chang of the Chang Chup. And Chup means one has mastered or perfected, kind of entered the expanse of non-dual wisdom, which is the ultimate bodhicitta. So that is your body, the nature of precious bodhicitta. All the Buddhas are manifestations of bodhicitta. Also Chikden Sumgön had said that Buddha is the natural manifestation of bodhicitta. And so all the inseparable from all the victorious ones of the 3 times. So as we said, all Buddhas, within one Buddha, all Buddhas are complete. So one taste appears as diversity and diversity as one taste. Even though there are limitless Buddhas, they are all the manifestation of the mind, the natural manifestation of bodhicitta. And even though there are many sentient beings, they all are the natural manifestation of ignorance, of afflictive emotions, of self-grasping. Due to this dualistic perception of self and other, they have become like ice blocks. So we need to understand the difference between ice and water. And thus all Buddha fields are permeated by your body, and within your body all Buddha fields appear. I bow to the glorious one. So the Buddha fields, the pure lands, now when one taste appears as diversity, so then the various pure lands manifest outward, and the Buddhas appear in these pure lands, and when they all are subsumed back or gathered back, then they all are included within this one form, the form of your body, to which I bow.
那么在这边讲下面一句，这个珍贵菩提心之自性身，混合三世一切之如来。我们的身是这个珍贵菩提心的这个本质，菩提心就是慈爱心，我们的藏语就是将就胜，那就是我们慈爱心身是慈爱心，然后这个对于二谛的圆满就是究竟谛的成就。那么一切的诸佛呢，就是菩提心的化现。吉田松公祖师也是这样讲的，诸佛都是菩提心的化现。一个佛就具足圆满的一切的诸佛，自然是菩提心的化现。那众生因为无明的关系、我执的关系呢，不了解，化现出种种的这个痛苦之身。那因为执着但是如果说没有执着的话，那么我们要做的就是去掉执着，那把那个冰化成水，要不然就是像众生一样，因为执着是他二元对立而把水变成冰块的固化了。接下来讲一切净土遍满宁尊身，身中显现净土恭敬礼。这种净土的所有的净土都是一味的，本质是等同的，可是它化现出来有种种变化，就是一跟多不一不二，不一不异的意识。那在外向上是化现各个净土，但是在回摄回归的时候又回归到本质了，就是刚刚他讲的 one taste 跟 diversity 之间的关联，一跟多一跟众之间其实是一样的，他是说在显现上层次上阶段上有所不同。
야, 시당의 차도 시치 도로지나 저기서 우송지 일자 우리 좀비 기특삼을 저기 이제 저기 산속색을 저기 용띠는 띠니 저기 뭐게 이뭐 얘도 산속색 자다노 자다 얘도 들어오는 데도 같이 들어오들 매나지다고 자고요래 같이 미 들어오는 게 배도단 거래 머리는 그래 또 산속색 비쳐버리 레게 쳐버려 레게 속에서 사족세고 쳐버렸어. 대회는 이제 감들어서 잡으려는 동해요는 동이 찍자매만 보여버렸어. 놀러 쭉 부선 줘봐. 야, 남의 대기 부선 줘봐. 너를 나타내봐. 새로 동해매봐. 요랬어. 요는 대답지. 야, 아마 사족세는 점바 서천 줘봐서 그래서 말했어. 점바를 송을 쭉 송을 했어. 서천을 송을 했더니 로jem la so le pan le mulu mo chen do yo le na sa me ba 주바라들 조상보 체령보 동지바라서봐 님바 저좀 쏘는 님바 저좀 주바수 찍버려 송아거든 따뜻한 토리를 탐지 대다를 수남 들을 바래 대는 되니 이제 감나 대다 내가 오늘 때 이제 산속세면 하고 오다 사지 산속세 때리다 박세리데 봐 사지 쪽디는 파르도 수바 쪽을 내랑 고다 일아 맥당 되게 바다 좀 많아서 와지바 땅아 사지 남사할 때는 오 집이 파르도 수바 집이 파르도 수바 성거래 무슨 집아 차담 타 들어 때는 지금 세 감직 때는 사마다 hin지 때는 세 탐진 내가 취면서 그러니까 그러고 작동 무슨 쪽발아서 점을 제베 차신 차와 사족 생계 파르도스 바쪽을 용지 차시 차와 싸로 땅아 오 대와 탐지 용원이 대와 탐지 싸와 그랬다 사바서 생제레 대지체 제정지 딱고 생각 탐지 다 사족 생 치보래다 다 대와 지시가 우선 좀 타고 들어오시 몇개 많통네요 그렇게 딱지에 따르면 싸워 성들을 싸우는 오 사족 생제라 사족세 비주 조 비주니 삼세우나 오 잘라 집어주세 마음이나 비주 보여라 오 대라지 강용들이 삼세용들이 삼세 용들이 하던 오다 사족 생 치보나 마그 바다 시간도 저거도 대다 하고는들이 시간 반 장매 반 대가 저기오래시 실제로 상질 다시지 이게 다디자 상고래시 다들 유몽 쪽지요래시 이피로에 파르다 서바통 상고요래시 조고산지 이피 셈네 동동에 말에 다데노니 신칸이 요 미데랑 딱게 당시 이에 마드스 나그 세고 사원을 당시 대단 사촉수고 요티 하고는 말아니 세계 신칸 통마서 마베데 같이 보이는데 그렇게 싸움 딱게 했다는 사촉생을 때리랑지 신칸도 덕도 잡을링은 맥대에서 들어서 나한테 들어가시 동에 들어가시 되니 밀리라고 집에서 루치는 대통령 딱 절이라고 하래지 사지 쪽에 저기 추는도 이제 절이 송송 대다고 싸움하다는 니들이 싸움하다 하자 그렇지 뭐 되는 거니 이 시기는 이 모남도 그래 집에 가시게 내가시 모남도 매라고 그래 삐 도보 거기서 녹아지고 사자지고 짝짝마들이 시작하면 군코 매가는지 속을 요리 어떻게 되니 저 가시 이제지 얘는 아소타들은 시작하면 맞지 다음 로토고요 말이 랑게 다디게 배고 저토고요 말 때절 맡아 받더니 이미 로도 고요래시 빼대다고 살면 시작함 집아지 딱 가르쳐 줬더니 다 사지고 딸이 다 시작함 야차야 다 요도 없으면 그러면 로타 줘봐 계속 그래야지